I don't know what you want anymore. I don't know what to say. It's just a game we're playing without knowing any rules.
The best line I've heard at the time came in the small hours when you bent your lips towards mine and said, "Boy, you're about as useful as a Swiss Army knife at a samurai sword fight." And you were right. I'm afraid I'm more horse hoof pick thing than tempered steel blade. I'm no granite jawed American hero. I'm so flawed I visited ground zero with a box of Lego bricks. At least it ticks the box, might be a part of the start of something. And I'll tell you one thing for nothing, we may not have had a romance worth telling strangers about from the stage. Let's be honest, promise breaking became our favourite pastime. We became one another's recurring mistake. We talked and talked about the importance of talking and let listening slip to the foot of the list until ignorance hit us like a silent tidal wave, left us deaf as a doorpost with an NHS hearing aid. And then later, by the moon's half-light, in the stillness of night, even when we were bent together like two of Geller's used spoons or curved like question marks, we were really only ever trying to answer our way out of the dark.
I can't find my way back to your door. Moved away, but not told me. Now I'm lost without a map.
Once upon a while ago, I made something for you in my tool shed. Way back then when almost everything we did and said seemed precious. When every gesture could be measured against those that had gone before, but nobody kept score. Every ear tuck of air, every careless comment held massive value just because it came from you. And camped out in my shed, I spent the better part of a working week, feeding the floor bead after bead of sweat and toil, as if it was soil, as if my tribute could take root and grow into something beautiful, just so you'd know I'm trying.
I still think that we wanted the same, but it got lost along the way. Maybe someday you will see beauty of naivety.
And then when I emerged and we edged toward our inevitable end, I handed you the gift of my sculpted heart and said it's only held together with hope and a rhyme, and at any time it could break and fall apart. I got the scars and the ache all set in place but never really managed to quite nail the shape. And as you held it there cupped in your two tiny white hands, your two blue eyes seemed to understand. So there was really no need for anyone to say it. It may already be too late to save it.
Sam, tell us a little bit about Besidesmyself.
Besidemyself formed about 18 months ago, a little bit over that I think now, comprising myself and Rick, and it really came about through me having always had a kind of a yearning to be a rock star from being a child, but unfortunately not being blessed with the ability to sing or play an instrument, so it's a little bit difficult. And then I discovered a world of spoken word, poetry, rap, everything in between, and realised that, you know what, if I could kick myself up the bum, I could actually do some of this. I've always written and written verse and stuff like that, always just for my own entertainment, submitted to some websites online, but the anonymity was the key thing, and got some nice feedback all the time, but really wanted to realise that this could be done with musical accompaniment to make it not too alien to people, so people could actually enjoy it. I didn't want to ever envisage myself standing in a room reciting to people, bored to tears. So I got to know Rick through working at Mind. Rick came and worked for Mind, voluntary role initially, and then came as a full employee. and we got chatting and we became friends, and Rick was always, in my opinion, a really, really good musician and songwriter. And I wanted somebody that was going to be able to carry this thing along with me. We had a couple of conversations in the pub about doing something with it. I would submit my idea, and we'd nod, and we'd go through the thing, and then we'd go down the pub again, and then we'd do the same thing and never really do anything about it. Then we had a conversation away from the pub one day, and I said to Rick, I'm pretty serious about this, and showed Rick some of my writing, which wasn't stuff that was written for performance. It was always written just for the page, and showed Rick a bit of that. And then the first sort of stanza of Romance, which is the piece that we've just done, and Rick liked it, and then I wrote the rest of it. Rick dug out an old song that he had, and that sort of came together really nicely, didn't it? That was a real seamless kind of like bonding of those two elements, and we got really buoyed by that. I think we thought, hang on, this is, you know, it's not always been as easy as that since. Unfortunately, we got lucky early on, and Rick played a bit of the song. The idea initially was musical backing, a little bit of singing, but I loved the song so much, and I said to Rick, we can use the whole thing, and we just interspersed, as you saw, you know, bit of recital, bit of singing, bit of recital, bit of singing, and so that's how it sort of came about initially. Really, that's it.
And Rick, what's your background?
I've always sort of played. I used to play in social club bands and stuff like that. Always wanted to play, and I've always sort of written stuff. When Sam said to me about the spoken word, it was like something a bit different, and he sort of, one of his heroes really is a Canadian guy, Shane Koizan, and he said to me, have a listen to this guy and see what you think of this type of stuff. And I sort of started to, and then I thought, no, I don't want to be influenced by that really, because the thing about what we do is we can put lots of different angles on it, you know what I mean? I sort of tried playing lots of different styles and putting songs around what Sam's written, and it works the other way around as well, you know what I mean? We sort of, so, I mean, that was the idea, not to get too much influenced by other things.
So the piece we just heard, how much work does that take? Because there's obviously a rhythm going on and a cadence. So does that take, or at least I thought there was.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing that's really sort of quite strange about that, because Sam will say, well, I haven't got a clue about timing, and I don't know what you're talking about when you say that many bars. So I sort of had the song, and then it's a case of sort of going on the phrasing as to how we, Sam's phrasing, it's a strange sort of thing, but we do it whereby we sort of work off each other. So I had the song, which had then split up, and we put the spoken word parts in, but some of the things have changed quite a bit through doing them, haven't they?
Through live performance, yeah.
And speaking of live performance, sorry, so you mentioned CD. Have you got CD, and indeed, if there's such a question, where are you going from here? Two questions.
Well, we have, I mean, like the stuff that we've done, we've built up a body of work that's sort of enough for a CD, which, I mean, at the moment I've recorded on Cubase and burn off copies of the CD.
We've got cover artwork done, and we've got a CD that we take along to gigs, and you know, it's available for purchase. We've got to get, we're very lax on some aspects of marketing. We're not on iTunes or any of that. We intend to be on there, and we should be on there, but we're not on there at the moment.
You sort of managed to upload all the stuff to Reverb Nation.
Yeah, we're on Reverb Nation. And people can listen to our stuff on our Facebook site as well, so it's all there. And we're working on new material at the moment. You know, sorry, I've hijacked this now. But you did say about where we're going from here, and we're not really sure. We're looking forward now to, you know, having done the Battle of the Bands, that became a bit of a focal point. It started off as just getting a few more gigs, to be honest. It was started in February, and it was really just to, you know, just to keep dipping our toe in and keep playing live gigs. That's the most important thing, because it's, you know, you never get that same kind of feeling from a rehearsal. We rehearse quite a lot. We have to, because there's a lot of stuff that I have to memorise, so I have to keep, you know, abreast of it all. But you can't replicate the feeling of being on stage and the pressure that sort of comes with that, and you need to be able to perform under that kind of pressure. So now we're looking forward to, having got through the Battle of the Bands and done that, we're now looking at the next chapter, which is really recording and writing new stuff. We've got a brand new track that we actually played in the final, and that seems to have gone down well, and we're excited about just expanding our body of work. You wouldn't know. And sometimes when you sleep, my fingers read the brow of your spine, and with sleep to me an elusive beast, as often as not I've got the time. I trace each ridge and peak like it's a mountain range, dividing you like an alpine landscape, and I'm a mix of 2 parts tourist and 1 part travel guide. And to the east, with your skin creased into mine, I can recommend kissing, and thanks to your positioning I'm already missing the wild, wild west. To the north there's a mind to be mined, but but it's in the warmth of the south that I take my rest. And I'd love to stand here and say you always get my best, but as my nose suggests, I don't have much bullshit credit left. I'm on pay heavily as you go, and I'm on the same high user tariff as Pinocchio. But I'm going on 4 years of truth, and though my body drives me further and further from my youth, I've never felt so alive. Despite some tough breaks and not being able to sate a backache that on bad days is so ravenous it swallows me whole for breakfast and doesn't bring me back up until it feels like too late. And it's selfish, I know, but I want to scale a mountain and shout my thanks to the world that have 10 years on you and counting. Because as long as I follow the plan and check out roughly when I'm supposed to, I shouldn't have to live a single minute without you. But the night we met, on the date of my birth, you gave me life, which was really nice. You thought a heart left on ice so long it had grown numb, and I make no secret of the fact that I can charm the pants off any plain girl in the world. But if you hit me with beauty, I consider it my duty to have the train wreck of my tongue collide with the platform of my gums. And you were abundantly beautiful. And I was only able to talk to you because I drank a cocktail of 1 shot giving up and 2 shots of you feeling like home. Like I'd known you forever and somehow you'd never clocked to my project best left alone. And that night I told you so. I stitched my ripped out heart to my sleeve and said, this is me, please, don't get involved. And you being young and naive with Malteser eyes or infinitely wise saw something you liked. Something in my deepest recess slumped to sleep so fast it was practically speeding. No mirror could throw back an image of me worth seeing, no shudder or shake could hope to wake me. And even now it's the ugly that leaps forth, but you've taught me it's worth at least doing my best impression of beauty. And more than once you said I was pretty, and as nice as that is, that's a little bit like being told, shit man, nice Ferrari, while sitting in a mini metro. And when you said it, I'll admit it, I'm committed to my role as mental health pro, and if I thought I'd be alright without you for a second, I'd have properly had you sectioned. I wrote this for you alone, and it may not be the loveliest love poem ever written or read. I use all the wrong references, sectioning, not serenading Ferraris in daffodils stead. But I wanted to give you something you could keep, something that puts the you in unique. And without credit being crunched and constricted, frankly it's a big fat bonus that it's free. And it occurs to me that the curse of the written verse is that what you say should be said in an original way, avoiding at all costs the big C, cliche. But you see, cliches are just accepted truths bleached bare by overuse. And if I were a braver man of fewer words, I would have just pointed to the sunset and said, I asked God to paint that for you.